It's happening right now, isn't it? Somewhere in the back of your skull, on a loop, completely uninvited. Maybe it's a chorus you heard once in a coffee shop. Maybe it's a jingle from a commercial you haven't seen in 15 years. You didn't choose it. You didn't ask for it. And no matter how hard you try to think about literally anything else, it just keeps playing. Same 10 seconds, over and over. Scientists actually have a name for this. They call it an earworm. And here's the first thing that should bother you. It's not the whole song. It's never the whole song. It's a fragment, a loop, a chorus, a hook, sometimes just 4 or 5 notes replaying with the precision of a broken record stuck in exactly the same groove. So here's the real question. Why does your brain, the same brain that forgets your own to-do list within minutes, hold on to a random pop song from a decade ago with perfect, obsessive accuracy? Let's start with the scale of this. Researchers estimate that somewhere between 90 and 98% of people experience earworms regularly. Some studies suggest the average person gets hit by one at least once a week. This isn't a rare glitch. This is standard equipment. Your brain came with this feature pre-installed, and nobody ever asked you if you wanted it. Here's where it gets interesting. Researchers studying why certain songs loop found the answer wasn't about how catchy the melody was or how much you liked the artist. It was about incompleteness. Songs that get stuck share a specific structural trait: simple, repetitive, and slightly unexpected. Predictable enough for your brain to anticipate what comes next, surprising enough to hold your attention. Your brain loves patterns, and it loves unresolved patterns even more. This connects to something psychologists discovered almost 100 years ago. In the 1920s, a psychologist named Zeigarnik noticed something strange in a busy restaurant. Waiters remembered incredibly complicated orders perfectly, right up until the order was delivered. The moment the task was complete, the memory vanished. She tested this formally. People were given small tasks, half allowed to finish, half interrupted partway through. Later, the interrupted group remembered almost twice as many tasks. This became the Zeigarnik Effect. Unfinished business occupies more mental space than finished business. Your brain treats an incomplete loop like an open tab it refuses to close. Now apply that to a song stuck in a 4-bar loop, playing the same phrase again and again without ever reaching resolution. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's trying to finish something. It's stuck in a mental Groundhog Day, replaying the unresolved fragment because some deep, ancient part of your cognition genuinely believes that if it just runs the loop one more time, it'll finally get to the end. But there's a second layer to this, and it's even stranger. Psychologist James Caleres coined a term for what an earworm actually feels like inside your skull. He called it a cognitive itch. And the metaphor is deliberately physical. An itch on your skin isn't dangerous. It's not even particularly painful, but it demands attention. It nags. Scratching it doesn't always help. Sometimes scratching makes it worse. And a song loop works almost exactly the same way. Your brain notices a tiny irritation in its auditory memory, and instead of leaving it alone, it keeps circling back to check on it. Checking on it is the scratch, and the scratch feeds the itch. Here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. Researchers have found that trying to consciously suppress a song loop almost always backfires. This is sometimes called ironic process theory, first demonstrated by Daniel Wegner in a study where he told participants not to think about a white bear. Guess what every participant could not stop thinking about? The moment you tell your brain, stop thinking about this song, you have to activate the exact memory you're suppressing, just to check whether you're still thinking about it. Suppression requires monitoring. Monitoring requires activation. You're fighting the loop with the exact mechanism that keeps it alive. So what actually works? Researchers have tested this, and the results are almost funny in how simple they are. The single most effective way to kill an earworm is to let the song finish. Actually listen to the whole thing, all the way to the final resolved note. Give your brain the ending it's been begging for. The loop stops because the open tab finally closes. The second most effective method is almost the opposite. distraction through a different, moderately engaging mental task. Something that occupies just enough working memory to push the loop out, but not something so demanding that your mind wanders right back to it out of boredom. Chewing gum, oddly enough, shows up repeatedly in the research as surprisingly effective. The physical, rhythmic motor activity appears to interfere with the same subvocal rehearsal loop that keeps replaying the song internally. Now, here's the layer almost nobody talks about. This entire system, the loop, the itch, the unfinished pattern your brain refuses to let go of, isn't a bug your brain picked up from modern pop music. It's a repurposed, ancient function. Long before recorded music existed, your ancestors' brains needed a mechanism for holding on to short, repetitive information with extreme fidelity. Chants, warning calls, rhythmic patterns tied to ritual, memory, and oral tradition passed down with no written backup. A brain that could lock onto a short, repeating pattern and refuse to let it fade was an evolutionary advantage. Information survived because the loop refused to die. You inherited that exact circuitry. It just happens to be firing on a jingle from a car commercial instead of a tribal chant. And there's one more twist. Musicologists studying which songs go viral as earworms keep finding the same ingredients: repetition, a touch of the unexpected, and simplicity. Which means the songwriters who make the catchiest hits aren't just being clever. Whether they know it or not, they're exploiting the exact same unfinished loop mechanism Zeigarnik discovered in a restaurant almost a century ago. Every 4-bar hook that gets you is quietly hijacking a memory system built for something else entirely. So the next time a song hijacks your brain for the 4th time in one afternoon, you'll know exactly what's happening. It's not annoying because your brain is broken. It's annoying because your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. Refusing to let go of something unfinished, scratching a mental itch it can't quite reach, running the loop one more time in the hope that this time it'll finally reach the end. Let it finish. That's the whole secret. Your brain just wants closure, even from a pop song it heard for 11 seconds in an elevator.